break into rich people's homes. I met a guy. He didn't know anything about my life. He didn't know how I ended up in that city. I told him I was there for a change of scenery. Now I'm in a whole new town, a whole new stomping ground with new homes, more rich people. You know, the guy I'm dating, he has no idea anything that's going on. He doesn't know why sometimes I'm a little sleepy like this. He doesn't know why I wake up at 5 a.m. and then have these odd hours because I would work. I would go and I would burglarize from about 7:30ish or so. I would start, but I would wake up at like 5:36, something like that. I would kind of get ready, get my gear together, get myself mentally prepared for my speeches, all of that. And then I would go out and I would always burglarize between like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Then I would stop like around 11:30. And then I would go back out around 1:30. And then I would stop again like around 3:30. I'm at least burglarizing 3 homes a day. But most of the time we're averaging like 5. I ended up finding a guy. He said he had a refinery and he could melt it down. I came in there and was like, hey, I came into my grandma's estate. She passed. She has a lot of gold. It's like scrap stuff. Some stuff's broken. I don't want it all. Can I just like melt it and get myself a little brick or something?
And he said, oh, I understand.
Yeah. And he's
gotcha.
like, right. Exactly. He's like, yeah, sure. And I was really
that happens all the time.
Right. So when he told me that happens all the time and I can do it, I was like, okay, well, do you have like a fee, like a rental fee or something for your machine? And so now we're understanding each other. And he's like, yeah, sure. It depends on how much you melt, whatever. So, and anyways, he had a 5-ounce gold template. So I would make these 5-ounce gold bars and I would sell them to gold collectors, gold dealers that I would find online, antique collectors, people that own coin shops, things like that. One time I ran into a safe. I made it a point not to tote out big objects, but one time I ran into a safe and I just knew there was like millions of dollars in there, at least $1 million. And I was like, I'm getting this safe out. But the safe was heavy as hell. So I drug that bitch out on a sheet through the house on these people's tile and I drug it out on a sheet. But then I had a problem because, you know, I can't separate the magnets. So I got to the front door and now I got to open the door and I got to separate the magnets. So I was like, okay, this alarm is about to go beep for like 30 to 45 seconds. And then it's going to woo, 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 woo. So if I can get this beast to my car in this amount of time, then I'm good. But it's not likely. So, you know, okay, what am I going to do? Okay. So finally, so I go back out the window. I go back to my car. I get in my car. I back that bitch up all the way to the front door. Like, this is a nice home. Let's just say like $1 million home. I don't remember. It's like just $1 million home. We'll just say, right? I have my car literally backed up all the way to their front door, over their grass and their sidewalk, looking suspicious as hell, with the trunk open and both back doors open. And as I'm going to my car and I'm like, oh, I'm dragging this safe, I kind of see like somebody moving out my peripheral. And when I look, it's the freaking neighbor. And I have to look at him now because he's approaching. I can see he's moving closer.
Mello's company steals cars, and the Rolls Royce Cullinan, $300,000 car. So we wired them the money. I get a text. This is from the dealer that we bought it from. Like, hey, car's on the way to you. I'm like, okay, great. That's what was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Monday comes around, car didn't show up. Again, not unusual because they are late sometimes. And then Tuesday morning, you know, I call the carrier. And they're like, oh yeah, driver's running a little late. He'll be there in a few hours. Okay. 4 hours go by, nothing. Call him again. He goes, driver's still running a little late. I'll call you back. And I'm like, what the So then I call him again. I'm getting pissed at this point. It's like 5 or 6 o'clock on Tuesday. I call him like, where's the car? Like, I'm losing it at this point. And he goes, driver didn't pick up car. And I'm like, oh. Like, I didn't know what happened yet. I didn't know how they did it, but I just knew that was not good. And then I called the dealer and I'm like, did that car get picked up? And they're like, oh yeah. And he sends me a bill of lading and it has the right VIN number. It has a name of a carrier I've never heard of. That's on there. It was like LG Motors. I've never heard of this carrier before. It's not who I dispatched to.
Right.
I see on there, like, who the is this? And I look at the delivery address and it said Van Nuys Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, with no delivery name, no contact name. And then I had a California phone number and no company name. And I text the dealer back. I'm like, what the is this? Like, did you guys sign this? And he goes, yeah, that's my signature to release the vehicle. I'm like, why'd you release my car to somebody who wasn't me? Like, we got scammed here.
Did you call back the phone number, the Armenian? What he said? Did he answer? Oh, got you.
Nice car.
No, he did not. He said nice.
The next day is when I found out the car was in Mexico. This dealership, and anyone can look this up, they're called Alvarez Exotics, right? They're on Instagram right now. They have tons of cars on their Instagram. You'll never see a VIN number. You'll never see any close-ups of the odometer over the dashboards ever, because on these stolen cars, you can see it says like SOS light, where the modules are unplugged, right? And it's very clear. They never post any close-ups of the dash, and their website doesn't work. They have a website that's listed on there. They don't have a real website. Canelo Alvarez, the boxer, his face is painted like huge and murals on the walls, and his logo is on the dealership. So I'm assuming it's his. I reach out to them. That same night, he sent us pictures of another Rolls Royce that looked kind of like it, but I knew immediately it wasn't the same car. And I'm like, okay, they're with us.
Yeah.
Like that means they went and checked and they're like, oh shit, it actually is stolen. I realized this has got to be Canelo, the famous boxer. I mean, he's got like 25 million followers on Instagram, something like that. I started going on his Instagram and I messaged every single person that he follows. He only follows like 200 people. Every single person that he follows, I sent him a DM saying, hey.
I had almost $1 million in cash in the closet. I had $998,000 and all 20s, hundreds, and tens in my closet and shoe boxes of Jordan, right? And then I had AK-47 in my house that it wasn't that I used it for protection, but it was kind of like it was gold plated, and it had my initials on the side of it. So I just used to have it upstairs just to have it, but it was it was a real gun. You could shoot it. I tell the guy everything. I'm like, yo, look, bro, I got the drugs there. I got the assault rifle, and I have money in the closet. I said, and all the shoe boxes all the way on the top. These guys, I remember that when I would go traveling, I would have Louis Vuitton, the set, the book bag, the duffel bag, the little thing with the wheels. These people, the Cuban cop and another cop, they went inside the house. They were in unmarked cars too. They go inside the house. I see them walking out with like 4 of my suitcases. Took all the money. They took the assault rifle. They took the drugs. And I remember, I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, I'm getting robbed by the police. But it is what it is. My whole family's there. I go and I told the cop, I said, I'm leaning against the thing. And I'm like, yo, what is this for? I said, I think you guys have the wrong person. As soon as they put all the stuff in the unmarked car, right? Like 15 minutes later, Miami-Dade shows up. Dade County Police, detectives, boom, boom, boom. The Cuban cop put everything in the trunk of that car. And I remember the guy left like a 50 of Coke in my bathroom when he just took 9 ounces of Coke out of my dresser. They charged me with that 50 of Coke too, by the way. That was one of my charges. When the guy puts everything in, literally like 10 to 15 minutes later, the Dade County Police show up.
Right.
The Cuban guy's partner gets in the car and drives off in the unmarked car with all the shit in the trunk. Right? So I'm leaning up against the thing, and I'm like, oh, shit. I remember I have something else. And the guy was like, well, listen, I need you to give me your jewelry. Mind you, my jewelry I probably had now the number's probably $250, maybe $300,000 in jewelry and Cuban link chains. Bro, the guy took off all my chains. Took off all my, they were the ones that hang over. He took off all my chains and put them all in his pocket, took off my watch, my bracelet. I was like, yo, it was a bad day. But I feel that I kind of bought myself out of maybe a life sentence in prison.
I'd rather for you to kill me than for you to put me through what you put me and my wife and kids through. I lost everything. I lost my home, my cars, my finances. I couldn't even feed my family. And it got to a point that I started drinking. I never took a drink a day in my life. I went to the hospital for anxiety and depression 5 times. And I'm saying to myself, how could these people do this to me, man? When I worked my way out the hood, to have a house for me and my family, and I lose everything for what? I did nothing, absolutely nothing. But through it all, man, the word of God says in Romans 12:17, repay no evil for evil. By doing so, God said, vengeance is mine, I'll repay, said